If your playing feels disconnected or clipped, even if the notes are right and the articulation is right, it's usually happening at the ends of your phrases. Sometimes it's an air issue, and sometimes it is a tongue issue. So there are two main things that I see when the ends of the phrases are clipped and just really too short and unmusical. One of those is that we run out of air before the end of the phrase, and the other is when we use our tongue to sort of chop off the end of the phrase. This is what they sound like. That's when I run out of air, or that's when I use my tongue to chop off the end of the phrase. While the notes are technically correct, it's a very unmusical sound, and we can do better. So there are different reasons that this happens. One, if it's the air that's running out, it's because we're either not taking in enough air or we're not managing it so that all of our air is used during the first part of the phrase and we don't have any left by the time we get to the end. Or sometimes when our tongue cuts off the end of the phrase, it's because we either want to sneak in a really quick breath or we're just really anticipating the next phrase that we're going to play. So we're thinking a little bit too far ahead and we're not finishing what we've started before we move on to the next thing. This can also happen if we're thinking by playing note by note instead of thinking about the entire phrase. So when I think about playing note by note, I get a bumpier phrase as well as a phrase that doesn't have a very sort of cared for ending. So it sounds like this. Right, so I'm sort of playing for every note. It tends to be bumpier. It tends to have sort of that exaggerated beat feeling. It doesn't have sort of this longer phrase sound. So while we absolutely have to think ahead about what we're doing and read ahead when we're playing music, we also have to make sure that we're taking care of properly and musically ending the phrase that we're currently playing. So instead of thinking note by note, get to the point where you're comfortable enough with the notes that you can think in terms of phrases. So instead of thinking just about separate words while you're reading, you'll think about an entire sentence while you're reading. So we want to do the same thing about when we're playing music, thinking about it in longer phrases instead of note by note by note. And to do that, you want to make sure that the end of your phrase is deliberately finished instead of either just sort of ended because we're out of air or ended with a really abrupt chop of the tongue to move on to the next phrase. All right, give this a try. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know if you have questions. I'm also offering a free trial lesson right now for new students, and you can find that sign up link in the description.